Welcome to Green's Gridiron Exchange. I'm your host, Coach Green, and we have an exciting show for you tonight. I want to bring in my host, co-host, my boy Andy V and Royce Wheeler. How you fellas doing this fine Wednesday evening?
I'm doing good, man. Just week 4. We almost a quarter of the season down. I'm ready to go. So I'm very excited, man, about some of the things that happened last week, and I'm really excited to talk about this top 10, man, because I'm a little puzzled. I want you guys to explain. It really just one spot, but I'm gonna let you guys explain to me, man. What's going on, Andy?
Just watch the Bucks dominate the Washington Commanders. So obviously repping our Tampa Bay Buccaneers here on the show. So
okay, cool.
I'll try to explain my end of the top 10 once we get into it.
Okay, cool. And you were at Osceola Tarpon. What was your evaluation of Osceola?
I'd say play to play, just really a lot of effort. Got a couple talented guys. The quarterback Gavin, I liked what I saw out of him. Can't quite pronounce number 2's name, but saw some big plays out of him. Brant Scott obviously featured in the offense. I'd say Osceola just really fundamentally a sound team. Just kind of things I saw out of them. Just it felt like at first Tarpon was kind of in disarray in terms of just kind of getting going early on, and Osceola being able to kind of capitalize on some big plays, and Tarpon really got it together in the second half, and I think they really found something with Nikita Renios. I know it's been between him and Triplet in the backfield, but I mean, for my own eyes and for what I saw, that Renios kid, I mean, once they decided to really go with him as the go-to back of the two, I mean, you could just see that their offense really was going to be able to move the ball at will. Nothing, against Triplet. He's a good runner in his own respect, but just for play to play, I think Triplet and between Triplet and Renios, you saw a difference. I think Triplet is one. I mean, he's a home run hitter when he can find that crease, but I mean, I think Renios is kind of he's almost like a guarantee the way he was running the ball. I mean, he's going to get you positive yardage. There's not really a lot of thinking going behind it with him. I think he's just going to hit the hole and get whatever he can get.
Right. Definitely very, very hard runner, man. Definitely a very hard runner.
Yeah.
Him and Nasir Hutchinson remind me a lot. Those guys run hard, man. Those guys run hard. So, yeah, definitely.
Like Tarpon, though. I like what I liked the adjustments they made, and they didn't have Makai Johnson. He was out. He didn't play, so I kind of took that as like you don't even have your top wide receiver in the game. So hats off to Tarpon. They're a bit, that's why I moved him up. I mean, I know it's a little puzzling, like for me to jump him over a Lakewood, but
that wasn't.
We'll talk about it. About it. I guess I'll give my reasons.
Okay, Green, man, you were at I saw Lakewood Clearwater. I got a chance to see on the computer, but you was at Lakewood Clearwater. Got a chance to see that massive Clearwater line versus that skillful Lakewood team. What was your evaluation of the game?
Just really surprised, man, of how Lakewood was able to move the ball on that defensive line, and then also with the explosive offense, Lakewood was able to contain Jalen White. The score at the beginning of first half could have been 12-3 going into halftime. Costly fumble by the quarterback gave them 10 points, and then an onside kick. Clearwater missed. They could have went into the half leading 13-12, but it was missed. So that it could have easily, if they just would have ran the timeout, it would have been 12-3. But they kind of made it a game. But really, just overall surprised at how Lakewood looked like the more team that wanted it the most. Even when Clearwater would make a big play, Lakewood didn't get down to hold their heads. They came back and answered. And that was the surprising thing. And I wrote in my prediction, and forgive me, Lakewood, but I actually wanted to win the game. Yeah. And I did right. If Lakewood could score points, that the game would be interesting, because I knew that if Lakewood can match up with them, athletically, then it was just a matter of who can put the most points on the board at the end of the game.
Right.
Lakewood was able to get some key stops. They had Jalen White running for his life a lot of times, and a lot of his throws were arid because he was trying to throw on the run. And a lot of the, passes either sailed overhead or was behind receivers just because they applied, consistent pressure on the quarterback. So hats off to, Coach Moore and his defensive staff for, putting up a game plan to stop the that explosive offense, because all of their receivers, even when they did score, it was like one play here, one play there. They cut you a little out, take it. Guys are scary. So,
one thing I did want to question, I didn't see a running game at all.
Yeah.
A massive line, but not a running game. And they got some. I mean, Brian Kiefer, for his part, last year he was awesome when Triplett wasn't there. So that's kind of puzzling to me. Of course, we got Berrien and a couple other players. So that's something I definitely want to bring up later on. Is we didn't really see a running game from what I saw. Maybe because they're playing down, I don't know. But did you see any type of running game or any consistency as far as that?
It almost seemed like they pressed. They kind of went away from it because they got down early. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they've been in that position before, but they got down early. And I think even they were surprised of how Lakewood was able to, call some 3 and outs and for them to kind of change their game plan. And it was just a good opportunity to see how they would react with their backs against the wall at home. And I think they kind of, just like I said, was maybe caught off guard. I know they thought they were the favorites, and maybe they just didn't think Lakewood had the talent that they did and was looking to maybe run over them. But, Lakewood just matched them pound for pound, up front. He didn't really give Lakewood any indication that they was dominating up front. And Lakewood, like I said, kept Jalen White on the run, which caused him to either throw errant throws, or it caused him to, lose yards, whether it was because of a bad snap, whether it was because he got sacked, or he was just trying to make a play. So, yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, Lakewood definitely proved that they can play with anybody in the county. Just for that, out of all the teams in Pinellas County, I would say that they are the most explosive team as far as from a receiver, quarterback standpoint.
Okay, cool. Let's jump on this top 10 real quick before we run out of time, man. Just that fast. We got CCC. They are 3-0. Apologies, CCC. They're 3-0, sitting at number 1. We got St. Pete sitting at 3-0 as well. They're doing their thing. We got Largo. Largo is right now, they're the surprise team sitting at 3-0. It's not really a surprise. It's just that I think that all of us talked about, not the big numbers. Of course, the transition from Jeremy Thomas to Mr. Phillips. But we see Mr. Harris is doing big things over at Largo, doing his all-purpose thing. We just talked about Tarpon sitting at number 4. Now, this is our media top 10 in combination. We got Lakewood 2-1. Definitely. We got Calvary going into a tough one against Bishop Verot. We talked about that a little bit last week. Clearwater 1 and 2. Whoo, and they're going in against CCC this week. Like I said, no big running game. Whoo, that's gonna be tough because we know McGee kind of did his thing last year, even though CCC won. We got Pinellas Park at 2-1. Zamir McNeil is running like a madman over there.
Yeah, he is.
No triplet, and he's still going crazy. But I can imagine probably, man, if triplet was there, they probably wouldn't even have to pass the ball. They could probably run. They probably have, man, maybe one of the best backfields in the county easily if triplet was still there. But now it's Renil's in triplet, so it's kind of the same thing. We got Osceola 2-1, big team over me. I love Osceola. And then we got Northside Christian. I don't know if Andy's still there. We got number 10. We got everybody went different on this. We got Northside Christian, Seminole, and Bogey. I love Seminole. I think they've earned their way to number 10. I know Green, you got Northside Christian. They're undefeated, I want to say, right?
Yep, they're 3-0.
And then we got Bogey. That's the one I wanted to talk about, Andy. What's keeping Bogey there, Andy?
Their 2 losses are not ones that I think we should be really knocking them on. I mean, St. Pete, we got them high up in the they're in the poll here. And to me, you only lose by 4. Something I start to disregard as the season goes on and more of the eye test comes into play is records, because I'm not going to reward somebody. Yeah, I get you could be 3-0, but Northside Christian, beat Hudson.
Right, understood.
But that's not an impressive win to me.
Understood.
Yeah, you're undefeated. You need to look. You got, for me, anyways. I'm going to try to look at more body of work and just how you're competing against certain teams. To me, if it'd be different if Bogey just got, I get they just played a game and got beat by 18, but that was another good team. And then you just look at the 2 losses and go, those are tough, and those are tough teams. And it's not like they got blown out of the water. They were in the game. Northside Christian, not enough for me. It'd be different if they just blew the hinges off Hudson, like 56-0. Then I would sit back and go, man, the Mustangs got something going. I just can't. I'm not letting go on them yet. Obviously, if Northside starts to really show something, or Bogey gets another loss, at some point the record will play into it. But to me, it's a little bit too early on for me to really base it too much on that. Really thinking about it, Pinellas Park should be over like them. I don't know why I didn't have them just a little higher. I don't, at least a spot higher. They should be over Bogey, really, in the top 10 I sent over. But I would say Bogey is right there with Osceola. If we're thinking about it, really, I don't know what would. I think that would be a really good game, Bogacier against Osceola. I think them two it'd be a tooth and nail type matchup. But yeah, that's my reasoning. Northside, nothing against. They're obviously undefeated and they're playing good ball. But I would say, how would they do if they had to play the 10 teams on the list? Would they beat any of those teams? I think that would be a fair question to ask.
Right, it definitely is. What about how you feel about Seminole? I like Seminole.
I think Seminole's right there with Osceola and Diego. I think they're right there. Them being Sun Lake, once again, it wasn't. 31-7. I guess it's how you take that kind of win. It seemed like throughout the game it was kind of tight, and then they did break away later on. 31-7 is 31-7. You won by 4. But Sun Lake is a rebuilding type team out of Pasco County. I thought Northside and Seminole both played teams that, honestly, they did what they were supposed to do. I wasn't impressed with the victories. To me, like, Seminole would have beat Tarpon or played closer, that would have impressed me more. I think Tarpon eventually kind of in the second. It's like against Osceola and Seminole, Tarpon played the same. It's
right.
Like half tight, and then second half they just pulled away and beat them by more than they didn't beat Osceola by more than 20, but Seminole they ended up beating them by a few scores. So Osceola, it was a tighter game. So you could argue Osceola definitely would have an edge over Seminole. I feel like Bogaciega has the edge over Seminole if they played them. So, and that also creeps into my mind as well as how would these teams match up if they actually played each other? And that's something I also have to take into consideration because I hate teams that I know they lose to.
Right.
It drives me nuts.
Right.
Let me put Northside in front of Clearwater. Like, I know right now that they wouldn't be.
Oh yeah, of course. Definitely. Only thing I can say is it's kind of the same thing to me with Seminole Osceola because Bogey beat Dixie. And with that being their only win, it's kind of but the thing about it is we know Bogey has the athletes. They have the athletes hand down. They just kind of have to piece it together. But like you said, if those teams played each other, I definitely could see Bogey winning just based off of what they have. What the potential to really if it comes together, what Bogey could do. So I love your reason. I think it's great. This is why we come together on this, man, and I love it, fellas. I love it, man. So another thing that we want to do, we didn't get a chance to do this last week, is we want to go over our Player of the Year candidates. I know that us personally, I was actually talking to my sister today, and she wanted to go ahead and make some switches, man, and we went ahead and did that. For our Player of the Year candidates, of course, we got Mr. Newton from CCC. He showed up pretty big. He's been showing up big as a quarterback this season so far. We got Jeff Jones, had a monster game running that ball, man. He, as you can see, 43 carries, 430 yards. He's averaging a first down every time he takes off. So we love what he's doing. And then we got Mr. Stark, Mr. All-Purpose. I mean, this guy he's been doing it all, including using his foot. We couldn't help but after 3 games, you kind of can't help but take a closer look at it because after one game, he was like, okay. Then the second game, I was like, all right. Because he said to me, he was like, man, more to come. I was like, okay, second game. Then the third game, I'm like, okay, he's been pretty consistent. He's doing his thing. I know I haven't gotten a chance to see him personally. Andy, did you get a chance to hone in on him a little bit when you saw them play, right?
Seminole? No, I haven't seen Seminole play.
You didn't see the play? Okay, I haven't had a chance to really hone in and see. One thing I can say about Seminole, they usually have 1 or 2 athletes that are, a la David Searles. The last couple of years, they've been really whoever their cornerback coach is, their secondary coach. I have to give it to them. They're pretty good in the secondary. Then we got Mr. Triplett from Tarpon. Like you say, you got Mr. Renils, but if Mr. Renils is running that thing. But Triplett, he's taking his opportunities. 70 more yards, he would be at almost 10 yards a carry. So we have to show him some love because he's in a new system. He came in late in the game, and he doesn't have the same line. He doesn't have any of that, and he's taking all of his opportunities and running with them. And then we got Mr. Tank Thomas, who showed up big this past week against Tampa Catholic with 3 sacks coming in at the end. Is there anything as far as this list, or is there any people that you guys could say could be on this list easily?
I mean, Renillos with the game he had, yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, 192 yards. I was trying to do the stats in the final minutes of that game, but it became a torrential downpour. But I about 200 yards. I mean, if it was off a few yards, he was right around that mark. I don't know what his numbers are in comparison to Triplett right off the top of my head, but I gotta imagine after the game he had, he's gotta be close.
Right. I definitely. What about you, Grant?
Well, I did see you've taken out Sean Kono and replaced him with Starks, and I'm curious to see there's the young man from Pinellas Park, the running back.
Yeah.
The game against Golden Gate. I know the talent probably wasn't there. A 3 touchdown game with over 100 and something yards. That's pretty good. Against anybody, 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards. But it's so early, man, and I had some candidates that was in my head that just hasn't produced yet. I had Jalen White as a dark horse, and his year just hasn't gone the way I expected. So with no Sean Kono and with no Jalen White, the cream is rising to the top. So we're starting to see other young men put their name in the hat. So hats off to the young men that's on here now, and we'll just have to continue to see how these guys steadily progress as the season goes on.
Yeah, definitely. McNeil plays Lakewood this week.
Yeah,
This is it. Like, this is his opportunity to really submit his spot in that top 5. If we could get anything close to what he's been producing, I definitely don't see why he wouldn't be. He'd be top 5. Like you say, it's the competition right now. But I mean, he's still been. He showed up every game. So I definitely think this Lakewood game is going to be his moment. This is going to be his moment to shine. If we know history-wise, we know what Pinellas Park is coming with against Lakewood. A lot of run, a lot of a lot of run, man. And so his opportunity is going to be there. A lot of run, and of course, I'm pretty sure Carroll is going to mix it up. Historically, they don't have big arms at Pinellas Park, so it's going to be different. But I expect a lot of heavy run, a lot of trenches, a lot of David Lee Proko, and McNeil running behind him, man. So McNeil looks very good. I love what we've seen from him so far. Kono, I just think he has to get more of an opportunity. I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to see him. I don't know if Hutchinson's just the hot hand right. He is the hot hand right now. So I definitely can't take away anything because he would have been the top back if Kono was still at Calvary. So he's getting his opportunities that he was supposed to get. So I love what they're doing. I think that Kono is going to. I think Kono's primed for a late season playoff run. I really think Kono is primed for that. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to have coming up. Fellas, so let's go ahead and start off with our top 10 teams, man, and what they're gonna be bringing. We got number 1 CCC, number 7 Clearwater. Oof, this is gonna be big. But I really can't see. First off, it's a home game for CCC. Second off, that lack of a run game. I haven't watched Clearwater much, but I haven't seen any shining as far as their run game in the first 3 games. I mean, Jalen White, his feet are great, but I just haven't seen that. So I love CCC. I love CCC to dominate this game. I think that this is probably going to be a week I think they're really, really, really looking forward to it. I think the trenches are going to be nasty down there. Thomas and all those guys, Thomas and Tyreek Harris and Jenkins going up against a massive O-line. It's going to be speed on size. So, honestly, this could go 2 ways. It could go real good for Jalen White, or I think it could go okay, or not so okay. What you guys think?
Yeah, this is going to be a good get back game from the standpoint of Clearwater has dropped their last 2. They're 1-2 and could potentially be 1-3. And who would have thought at this point of the season Clearwater would be 1-3?
Wow.
And with all the talent that they have, and with just the explosiveness on offense, I don't understand how they went from being how a team can make them one-dimensional, I should say. Because like you see, and we both agree that they just abandoned the run, and it's going to be interesting to see because I think and I feel that CCC has a little more than Lakewood has talent-wise, and it's going to be a tough goal against a solid CCC team.
Definitely. What you think, Andy?
Man, I think Green being like really generous with because I just don't know. Maybe Coach Joswiak will take the clip. I mean, I was told by IMG Academy, the stuff out right nice bulletin board material when they face coach. So maybe Clearwater will do the same with this, but I don't think it's going to be close. I mean, you just got to look at the directions these teams are going. Clearwater Catholic, this is a team on a mission. I mean, these guys see a potential opening in Class 1A with Chaminade, which Chaminade did win their first game against Asian American Heritage. But, I mean, you look at the wins here. I mean, Berkeley Prep, 28-14, knocking off a team, ranked by a lot of people as a nationally ranked team. Sebring, a really well-coached team, 43-8. Tampa Catholic, another team that's really well coached, 48-7. I mean, I just don't know how much of a gap I'm gonna sit here in Clearwater. This goes back to looking at one team and looking at another and saying how much better or worse is that team. And to me, Clearwater is on par with, to me, Sebring and Tampa Catholic. I'm not even, and they might be there with Berkeley Prep. Maybe, I don't know. Berkeley Prep is now 1-2. So no, I think this is a tough stretch, really, because if you're Clearwater, you lose this, you go to 1-3, you got Largo the following week. And Largo was playing, they've been just getting better every week. So and then if you go to 1-4, you got your probably, in essence, you got your district championship game in Class 4A 10 against Golf. I know. I think River Ridge is also in that district with Countryside, so kind of a funky district. But which River Ridge is formidable as well. So I hate to kind of write them off. Just my opinion. I think Golf might be a tad better, but. I mean, whomever though. I mean, Golf is probably the one team I thought that would give Clearwater a run in that district. But how do you feel as the Tornadoes if you drop this game, you drop against Largo? I mean, are you in a district where you should be the front runner? No doubt. I mean, are you going to be able to kind of? We just know how things go nowadays. When things are going bad, they don't necessarily get better. Kind of just start to spiral. So
right, definitely.
Yeah, CCC all day in this one.
Okay, cool. Next, we got St. Pete at Palm Harbor. The keys, I have Will Siebert and Mr. Christopher Tank. I think Mr. Tank is this is a game that don't sleep on Palm Harbor. You can never sleep on Palm Harbor. Historically, they play St. Pete tough. They're going to always bring their best. St. Pete, the talent is there. The talent is crazy. Like a lot of people, I think they have a lot of talent. They have talent that's equal to Lakewood and some of these other guys. They're just not the huge big names, but they're another team that I think is they're definitely primed for a late season playoff run. Definitely as long as Mr. Jones show up. But my key is Mr. Seaver, Mr. Tank. I think that Palm Harbor is going to show up. They're going to play hard. But of course, I think that St. Pete is this is going to be a game where I think that they're going to have to use some of the other little tools a little bit. Get Mr. Hines in there. Mr. Montavious Duckworth is a weapon that they don't use a lot, but he is a big weapon. And that defense, I think, is very stingy. So I love St. Pete in this one. What say you guys?
Yeah, I like St. Pete as well. Of course, they're at number 2 for a reason. They've been just a team that's been consistently improving each week. Even in the tough games that we thought they would lose or at least have the game, they came out on top. They found a way to win, and I think they continue on that, finding a way to win again this week.
Okay. What about you, Andy?
St. Pete, I'm sorry. I just said, yeah. Until Palm Harbor, my rule of thumb is until you show me something, it's hard for me to jump on board with. I mean, yeah, the guys are gonna go play hard. I'm sure of that. I mean, I would hope so. You go there on Friday nights and pad up. So yes, I expect them to go out there and But yeah, they lost 21-7 to Parish Community, which they're not a bad team. But yeah, they haven't caught that break here so far. I don't know. I mean, if they turn the corner here, they got a chance, make it a couple in a row with Countryside following it up. I mean, but no, I'm gonna go with the Green Devils. I think they're a hot hand right now.
Definitely. All right, we got a big game here. A nice game. We got Largo versus Osceola. My keys, I have Anthony Harris. If you guys have watched, he started to do the Wildcat. He's an all-purpose guy. We all know that. And then we got Osceola. I think just the team, just that team. I think that any team in the county, when you play Osceola, you're playing the team. You can't just focus on one guy. So I love Largo, but just like last week, I would not be surprised if Mr. Harris shows. I mean, if Osceola shows up. What you guys think?
Yeah, I was able to check out that first half of the Osceola and Tarpon Springs game last week, and I was thoroughly impressed with Osceola's defense. They kind of kept Tarpon Springs at bay that first half, and from the looks of it, I thought they pretty much had the formula to stop everything that Tarpon Springs was doing. I don't know if the rain played a part in the comeback, but they were able to run the ball effectively in those last two quarters, second half of the game. But Osceola is a talented team. Don't sleep on those guys. They just got to continue to play hard for 4 quarters. It's going to be tough stopping Anthony Harris and some of the key guys that Largo has. It'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. I think Largo just still has momentum. So I'm like you, Royce. I'm gonna take Largo on this one as well. But it's going to be a tough game.
How you feel,
Andy? You know what? I would say Largo's trying to turn kind of a ground and pound type game where they really just because you look at all 3 of their games, Pinellas Park, and nothing is the same. Like, they've shown you 3 different ways they can win games. They can win a high scoring one. They could win one where the 2 teams basically score a couple times, and then they can win a tight, kind of mid-scoring game like they did against Pinellas Park. So, but you got Marion Gordon in the backfield really doing well for them. That Anthony Harris got to watch. Osceola, didn't see him. I wouldn't say the rain, I think, affected them. It was almost like they just ran out of gas. That's how I felt. Like the big plays. And I think Tarpon just wearing them down between Cornelius and Triplet. I mean, I think that's just a tough 2-back combo. If you're looking at the county, that might be the best 2-back combo there is with those 2. I think they're really, I know CCC and some teams probably have something to say, but I mean, I just like what Tarpon did in the second half when Coach Chinchar decided to run Osceola. The Warriors just wore down. So I think if Largo decides to go a route and they stick with it, yeah, I mean, I go with Largo on this one.
Okay, cool. I definitely agree with you on that. So that makes a lot of sense. All right, so our next one we have Northeast at number 4 Tarpon Springs. Northeast is another tough team. You never know. And the thing about Northeast is I think they're starting to kind of heat up a little bit. So I think that, but this is Tarpon. We got Jalen Irby here. Jalen Irby is a comeback player. He is the type of guy that if you're an odds better, you could take Tarpon from -3 to -5, -6. He's that type of player that could give you those few plays on offense, defense, whatever. Those a few injuries have held him back, but I think that he's primed. I think that he's primed for a big game. So I love Mr. Irby to show up in this one and really kind of show us what the rest of rest of the Tarpon Springs offense could look like. But of course, we got Mr. Renillos here, one of the hardest runners in the county. I got to give it to him. And I still love Tarpon, but I love people like Mr. Williams to get his yards. And I love, Northeast to show up. You got Kevon Imna. He's a rocket on offense and defense. So I love Northeast to show up, but I still love this guy, Mr. Renillos. What you guys think?
Yeah, Renillos is as you can see, he is a local tough guy. You mix that up with Triplett, and then just with combine all the weapons that they have. The interesting thing would be the big guys up front, because it seems like Osceola gave them problems with the defense of their defensive front. The most part, first part of the game. A couple of stacks, it was a couple of bad snaps. I don't know if that was an extra center they had, but it was some bad exchanges early in the game that put Tarpon Springs in some bad positions, and they were able to kind of capitalize off of some of the mistakes that Tarpon made early. But Northeast is going to have to definitely come to play. Tarpon Springs is at home. It seems like all the tough games that Tarpon Springs has, they have them at home. They play Lakewood at home. So that's going to be some home field advantage for those guys. And man, I know Coach Davis will definitely have that defense ready. So it's going to be interesting to see which team shows up on Friday.
How you feeling about that, Andy?
Well, I was thinking while Green was talking, and I really looking at this backfield. I'm gonna go back into the history book here. This might be the Spongers' first. With the rate they're going at now, Renillos and Triplett could potentially both go for over 1,000, because Renillos is at, I believe he's just over 300. He's at 303, and then Triplett I think is at 313. From what you specifically 321. So they're both on pace for over 1,000 yards, which would be the first time the Spongers have had two 1,000-yard rushers since 2009, which is the last time they won 10 games. They went 10-3, and they had Adrian Bubba Golden and Darius Daniels. So those are a couple of people probably like, oh, a throwback. But I just like Tarpon's over up offensively from Cavalcleese as the pro-style passer. And I think he showed a little bit of a different, way of winning a game with not having Johnson in there. He had to be more poised and kind of patient for guys to get over. He had to let the play actually develop, even with Osceola pressure. So Northeast, I agree with you. They're not going to make it easy. This is going to be another game similar to, really the three they've already played, Seminole, PHU, and Osceola. I'm going to keep giving the edge to Tarpon just because you got to like what they're kind of building on offense. It's impressive.
Right. Definitely. One thing I can say also as well, Northeast is going to come hitting. If it's anything I know, they may not feel they have all the advantages in places, but physically, when they feel like that, that's when they bring that. That's when they really, really start to bring that hat. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But man, Renillos, it's hard. Jeez, man, that kid, that dude is, and he's not slow either. That dude kind of he's nice. So I love what he's bringing there. We got P Park versus Lakewood. Like I said, historically big game. This game could go either way. To me, this is another game that I feel like it's gonna be on Lakewood. A lot of these games are really on Lakewood and how they want to show up. If they could show up like Lakewood, like they're supposed to, then I don't see any reason why they don't win. That's just it. If they come in, as you see, we got Lakewood special teams is the key. You know what I'm saying? They almost gave him a problem last week. You know what I'm saying? Almost was an issue last week. So I love as a team, if Lakewood shows up offensively and defensively, great. But this is the type of game where we can't have these onside kicks going out of bounds. We can't miss these extra points. That's just something that has to be preached this week for Lakewood. I'm sorry. Everything else, I love it. But that has to be preached this week for Lakewood. Ooh, this is a tough one. It's at P Park. I think it's going to be close. I'm talking about 14-13 type game. But I like Lakewood. What say you guys?
Yeah, I think Lakewood defensively is again, and I've echoed this, but one of the top teams in the county. Anybody who can, kind of corral like Largo. Largo put up 40 on Bogey, and Largo just barely beat them because of a misfield, a misstep snap that they got a safety. So again, they are a team that, like you say, they stand in their own way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see that type of athletic ability. And who missed that Largo game? 3 of their top players was out. So was, like I said, Largo had some guys out, but I think he would have made the difference. Their starting running back, he didn't even play in this game. They've made some key additions where they moved some guys from offense who was on the offensive side of the ball and moved them to the defensive side of the ball. And so they made some changes to where they're putting guys in position to be successful, and they're using their talent basically. And so it'll be interesting. Pinellas Park always plays Lakewood tough. They beat them last year, and I think they feel like Lakewood's not a team that scares them. So they're going to give Lakewood their all, and I think they're going to be able to hold Lakewood and make them basically they're going to make Lakewood beat them pretty much. You got to come in our house and beat us. So I like Lakewood though, again, with all the talent they have, with the players they got, and with their defense, I think Lakewood will be able to handle Pinellas Park.
Okay, cool. What you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lakewood, just coming off the win that they had over Clearwater. I thought that was kind of impressive, being able to bounce back from that loss to go, and just being able to put up the 33, and nothing Pinellas Park did against Golden Gate. I mean, definitely, nice win against them. Kind of tells me a little bit more about where they're at, or Golden Gate, anyways. That I did hear they lost a bunch of guys down in Collier County, so maybe they're just not quite the team they were last year. Because when you look at last year, they were a pretty solid team. Maybe they, just lost too much in transfers. So I mean, this one's real tough to call. I mean, I truly do think it's kind of one of those coin toss games, like I've said in the past. I think I wouldn't be surprised either way, because Lakeland has shown the ability to play the role of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. They can be two different personalities. They could be one of, they score a lot of points and we start to really feel good about them, and then they could be one that puts up 7 and they lose 9-7. So it's like, which Spartans team is going to show up on Friday? That is really that's the big key.
Definitely. And then so our next game is one we talked about the week before. That same last week. But we got Bishop Road. That guy Carter Smith is real. That guy Carter Smith is real, man. Running and passing.
I've seen him.
But we got Calvary. That's our home team. That's who we. I love Calvary still, but this is gonna be one of those games. This is gonna be a tough one. We gonna need an Austin Holt sighting, a big Austin Holt sighting. on top of some Candace Smith and some Nelson Sparrow magic. I'm not going to call it. I'm just going to let Andy call it. I ain't even finna call it. I'm just going to let Andy call it, man, and I'm just going to leave it alone. So I'm going to let Andy take it from here next, and then I'm going to jump in green.
I'll put them down lightly. I'll put the boys down lightly from Drew, off of Drew Street, but I'm just going to say, do they got to go there? Is that what's going on? Are they going down to Fort Myers?
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, that's not going to be a drive to Sunrise down there, because that's not going to be I'm just going to say I don't think it's going to be a fun ride back home. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a team that's averaging 53.3 points per game. I mean, they just played an absolute shootout with Venice, and Venice is they're stacked. I mean, they lost 71-56 to Venice, and that game came down to the final really minutes. Carter Smith can commit. I mean, really he can slice you, dice you with his arm. He can, he's lethal off that zone read keep. He's got Deshaun Jenkins next to him. I mean, big kid, 6'1", about 2. Looks like a big linebacker just running the ball. I mean, if you got 180 pound, 190 pound linebackers, I mean, you're gonna need like all 3 of them to hit this kid, because he's like a Ron Dane type back. You remember him from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
He's like a Ron Dane type. Yeah, you just see him coming downhill, and it's like you want to move out of the way, because he's just a fast, big bowling ball type back. Thoreau can put the points up too. I mean, they scored 55 on Tampa Catholic recently, and then they put 48 on Jesuit in the season opener. So the way we played against First Baptist, 31-7. I mean, and I don't think First Baptist is better than Bishop Verreau at all. So it could, I don't know, maybe a miracle happens, but I'm not seeing it. Bishop Verreau big over Calvary.
What you think, Green? Have you gotten a chance to look at them at all? Or?
No, I remember us talking about them, because I remember you thought they played them this last week, and we realized that they had a bye. But where are they out of again, Bishop Verreau? They're down in what part of Florida are they out of?
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers. Okay. The only thing I can say is that, remember when Lakewood was playing all these Miami teams, and people was like, "Damn, it was terrible." They only won 2 games. Half of the schedule was Miami teams.
Mm-hmm.
Taste of what happens when we play teams that's outside of the area, and we match up with guys like a First Baptist Academy and a Bishop Verreau. It's not that Calvary isn't good. It's just when you get out of this area, then we match up against other schools that has a lot of talent, because then now Calvary can't be sitting at 1-2. You know what I'm saying? With more teams on the schedule to play, and it's not that they're bad. It's just when you get out of this area, it really gets real. So I just want them to show and play Calvary ball, put their best foot forward, man, and get a couple of turnovers here and there and make it a ball game. But I like Bishop Verreau.
Yeah. That's it. Man, 71-56 Venice. I mean, Venice is great. They put 56 points on a team like that, and I mean, I haven't seen this running back Danny's talking about, but man, I do know one thing. Calvary has Mr. Trenzel Lewis. He's a bowling ball too, but haven't really heard from him. He's a huge in line. So if there's one player I'm looking to step up, it's him. But man, if he's coming like that, man, it's gonna be a long night for Calvary, man. So it's good luck to him. Our next game we got last but not least, Seminole and Countryside. This is will be pretty much a warm-up game. I'm just gonna go similar. I'm not even gonna really talk too much about it.
Yeah, me too. Similar.
Yeah, so I we kind of hats off to teams like Countryside, Dunedin. A lot of these teams, man, they are showing up. They giving it their all, man, regardless of the numbers, regardless of what. Every week they coming out and they're giving it all, man. So hats off to them, man, because I did see Countryside in the Jamboree. They had a couple players of potential. They just didn't have quite the numbers. And of course, they don't have Mr. Jeffords. They don't have Mr. John Angelo from Tarpon. So they were missing, they lost a lot of key players. So shout out to them. I know everybody's gonna be going with Seminole on this one. So last but not least, you guys already know we got our players of the week section. A lot of players showed up this week. I know any guys that one guy I do want to talk about. Who was the running back for Lakewood this week?
So they had two guys that really that played. Number 28 was Tayshawn Bell, and then they had number 22. His name is Callan. I think his last name is Davis. He's number 22. I think he scored twice as well.
Yeah, Mr. Bell's been showing up big. I love what I saw from their running game. I loved it. Like they was hitting that hole, man. And really, it really reminded me of Martravius Lloyd when I was seeing some of them. I'm like, okay, they looking like they were really getting through that hole, man, and getting those 6-7 yards, which is what we really needed to see from that offense. So I love what Lakewood had, but I got to give it to I'm gonna call him Dylan X from Osceola. I like what he brought, and I like what Mr. Stark brought because special teams, a field goal, one interception, over 100 yards rushing, and 70 yards receiving. So I love what I saw from Mr. Stark. What about you guys?
Yeah, I liked the one kid, Mr. X. Dylan from Osceola, he was a bright spot. I think didn't he have a pick six? Andy, didn't he have a pick six in that game?
Yeah.
And then he also had a punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, he was nice. I liked. I wish they could have, really kind of taken to the air more with him. I feel like he's a kind of underrated kid as an athlete.
Yeah, so like he's averaging like almost an interception and like 6 tackles and like a big play a game, man. So shout out to Dylan X. I always hear his name and I see his stats. And last week he had a pretty good game as well. Not the biggest guy, but just look at that. You know what I mean? Just making them chase him. You know what I mean? And this is a kid who in the area everybody wouldn't really say his name or number one, they can barely pronounce it, but look at this. Punt return, kick return, pick six, touchdown. Look at that. So he was pretty much probably my player of the week. If not him, then the running back from Pinellas Park.
Definitely. Okay. What about you, Andy?
I guess we'll stick with the Osceola Tarpon game. I mean, I feel like I should do it for the kid or the kids like that I got to see, and I'll just stick with Nikita Renios. To me, I posted a video on Instagram of his one of his runs, and it was from the 20-yard line. He had to have broken like 5 tackles, and he really showed the epitome of like a tough, hard-running bruiser type back. I mean, just taking hit after hit. To me, a little bit of a throwback when you're looking at kind of what the tailback position has become. It's really become more of a pass catcher, gap back type. He throws it back a little bit more of a, he's like, he probably wouldn't mind if every guy on defense hit him every play because he just likes it. He's absorbing hits and accepting contact, wanting it. So, I got to give it to him. Close to 200 yards rushing, multiple touchdowns. And I think if not for him, I think Osceola would have pulled out that win, to be honest.
Definitely. Yeah, we're going to have to. I'm going to show Mr. Neal some love online because, that guy is he. I love what he. I love what he brings, man. So definitely want to highlight those guys. We love those guys. It's going to be week 4. We're going to be voting on our player of the week on our Facebook, guys. So make sure that you guys see that. And that's it, man. We got the show done in an hour. No rushing. It feel good to get that done, man. Bucks win this week. Got
Yes.
to win this week. Lag ain't showing up. Man, my Seminoles just got to stop playing. And yeah, man, it'll be even better week, man. And man, hey, I love what we're doing week 4. Where you gonna be at this week, Andy?
So Friday night, I'm gonna go to Mandarin at Bradford up in Northeast Florida. So I'm gonna be in kind of the rural area of Northeast Florida, and then Saturday, I'm working on it right now, but I'm trying to get over to Camping World Stadium. It's gonna be Edgewater against Orlando Jones. I would try to pop out to something Thursday night if there was really anything I saw, but really there's nothing. I don't see no Pinellas County games going on Thursday night. So
Definitely understand that.
Try to put it out there. If y'all play on a Thursday night and it's local, I'll pop out. I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Well, I think our game of the week probably CCC versus Clearwater. So if I don't go out there, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on NFHS. But that's a game I'm really looking forward to. Just looking at those, like Jalen White he's a great quarterback. Like, Jalen White had the best arm in the area. Like, even though they lost, man, like if you look at those highlights, man, bro, he has a rifle. Like he has a rifle. He the way he runs, he's not super fast, but he gives me Adrian McPherson vibes. He's just not as long and as tall, but arm and the way he runs, he gives me those Adrian McPherson vibes back when he was at Southeast, and he has another year. I think that he's gonna have some big offers coming because he has a rocket. I love what I saw on those highlight tapes, so I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on that game. And man, that's it, fellas. So man, appreciate everybody. Appreciate the love we show so far, week 4, and we'll see y'all in week 5.
All right.
Peace
All
out.
right, appreciate it.